Welcome back to the UK Crypto Podcast. I'm Paula and I'm joined as always by Matty. Crypto is often talked about something that's not mainstream yet, something that's still early and still waiting for adoption. But today we want to ask a slightly different question. Has crypto already gone mainstream and nobody's noticed yet? Because sometimes adoption doesn't look like hype. It looks like things quietly becoming normal. Right, let's get into it.
This episode is sponsored by Tangem. Tangem is our preferred cold storage crypto wallet and the one that we personally use. It's designed to make self-custody simple and secure without the complexity that normally puts people off self-custody. The link that's in the description, you're going to get 10% off, and that's on top of any seasonal discount and promotion they are already running. Alternatively, if you don't want to use the link, you can go and find the Tangem website yourself, which is tangem.com. And then at checkout, you can enter the promo code Milkshake Matty, all capitals, no space. Please remember that Tangem, you can layer those codes. So if you land on the website and they've got a promotion running and there's a promo code that pops up on your screen, you can add that as well as the Milkshake Matty promo code, which will give you the 10% off. All right, let's zoom out a little bit and talk about exactly what we mean when we're saying mainstream.
Yeah, because it's a word that gets branded around, doesn't it? And I mean, there's a lot of projects out there that are creating awareness, and I mean Ripple being the major one at the moment, because people are talking about how that's going to be adopted, how that's mass adoption, and how people are going to be starting to use different payment rails. But I guess that awareness versus the usage, and whether or not is it just being spoken about, or is it actually being used?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Ripple's a really good example, and I'll probably lean on that throughout this podcast, if I'm honest. And that's not because I'm a Ripple huge fan, although I do like the XRP. There's no doubt about that, but that's not the reason for me to be talking about it in this podcast. It's more because it is a perfect example of something that has utility, which isn't for the average man. It's for institutions. Yeah. So therefore, they don't get to use the utility that it's built for. But there is awareness about what it's for. I
think there's a lot of excitement, isn't there, around what Ripple are doing, because there is such a big XRP community, and I think everybody's waiting for this moonshot, aren't they? Yeah. Everybody's waiting for Ripple to suddenly go, yeah, it's now being used across the board, and now the price is going to go up. But I don't think that necessarily mainstream is really quite as cut and dry as that. What do you think?
Yeah, no, not at all. I think that mainstream element to crypto can quite often feel distant from a retail user, because it's not about them. Yeah, I think that definitely can be that disconnect. Yeah, and sometimes it can lead people down to feel that, well, there's all this news about mainstream, but I don't feel it, I don't see it, I can't see it.
Yeah, you've got the loud noise, the loud adoption versus that quiet integration that's going on in the background. Because if you go back to Ripple and what they're trying to integrate, actually they're trying to change payment rails in a massive infrastructure, and that's never going to happen overnight. That takes time. It takes pilots, it takes testing, and then it takes regulation. Then it's going to take scaling up, isn't it? Yeah. So yes, we can have all of these big headlines, and the big headlines are there to grab people's attention because whoever's writing the headlines wants you to read their article. But that slow, quiet integration in the background, it's happening. But I think as retail, we want everything now, don't we? We want everything to be reflected in price.
Yeah, I think I notice this a lot, right? Let's say there's a positive news article. It doesn't have to be about XRP. It can be any utility crypto, right? But we'll use XRP or Ripple as the example, right? So let's say they've announced something new. So maybe it's like an acquisition of something, or maybe it's a new deal. So recently there was the Ripple got their European banking license, and the first one they managed to get it in was Luxembourg, right? Now, once you've got a European banking license in Luxembourg, you can then operate in all, is it 32 states across the EU? How many states are in the EU now? Or is there whatever it is? Yeah. So it's actually a massive deal. Yeah. And I remember making that video, and the amount of comments were going, but the price has gone down today. Yeah. And I'm like, the price today has absolutely nothing to do with that news. They're not even related, but people are expecting instant results from a news story that's about integration to going mainstream. Those things are not instantly linked.
Yeah, because it's the speculation versus infrastructure debate has gone on for many, many years, because you see all of this speculation. We talk about utility, we talk about mass adoption, but I think people forget that the infrastructure behind that has to be so massive that it's never going to be instant. And yes, Ripple are designing payment rails for institutions. Yes, people are talking about whether or not they will replace SWIFT. But I think what people have lost the ability to do is to understand the significance of the size of the market. Ripple doesn't need to have and run every single settlement payment that is in the world to have a decent turnover of business.
Share of the market,
they just need a market share. And they don't need to have everything to be able to be extremely successful. So, I think we've got to build this infrastructure in the background. We can't expect fireworks because infrastructure doesn't create fireworks. And I think that you will see over time, we talked about it in a previous podcast about UK banks starting to do pilots around using blockchain technology. This infrastructure will build in the background, but little bits of it might be integrated and then another bit might be integrated. I don't think crypto is going to be coming in with a big bang.
It is a slow grind, and it's a slow grind in the direction of being positive. But I think they're expecting some vertical liftoff, and it just won't work like that.
No, definitely, because I think blockchain technology can be integrated into so many different things, and there's going to be so many systems. And even if we just looked at the bit that Lloyds Bank is doing about using blockchain for mortgage settlement payments, that's just one single part of their business, and they've got loads of different layers that they could be using this for. Are they suddenly going to integrate everything into blockchain technology? Very unlikely. It's going to be slow integrations, pilots, testing this works, narrow lanes, making sure that works, making sure that lane is regulated and it's working really well, and then it will move on to the next one. And this could be integration over the next 100 years. I don't know how fast this technology is going to happen. Obviously, I don't think it's going to take 100 years. But I think this expectation that it's going to be integrated straight away and then that's immediately going to be reflected in the price is just, we're setting people up for a fool.
Unrealistic. And I think that's where some people will get disillusioned.
Yeah.
Because they're expecting those fireworks. And because the fireworks don't happen, that's when they're setting themselves up for disappointment.
Yeah.
And actually they need to realise, especially if we use the Ripple as the example with the XRP, it's going to go up a little bit sideways. It's going to go down. It's going to go up a little bit. It's going to go sideways. It's going to go down. And it's going to keep doing that for years.
Yeah.
Now, what you really want is it to be moving up, down, sideways, with the channel slowly going up.
Yeah, exactly.
On a higher time frame.
Exactly.
Over the years. That's what you really want. At the moment, we haven't seen that. So I get it. I do get it. But if you're expecting that over a short term, I think you need to be really, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say this. I made a video on this and I got some hate for it. So I don't care. I'm going to say it on here as well. Start thinking in a decade.
Yeah.
And you'll probably start feeling a little bit better about it.
Yeah. I guess that when you start to look at it that way, some things do stand out.
Yeah.
So things like we might already be seeing some signs of crypto becoming mainstream through things like ETFs, institutional access. Again, we spoke about this on a previous podcast. We have got these ETFs that are being built in the background, and something, was it like $40 billion of money had been invested last year into ETFs? That's huge amounts of money.
Monster.
So we can't say that institutions aren't interested, because they're showing us that they are. They're showing us that every time a new ETF is being launched, there is new interest in that. And I think the proposition of ETFs that are being built moving forward is to actually be more diverse than just being Bitcoin or just being XRP. I think we're going to see ETFs across crypto coins, and that's just going to give more and more access to institutions that wouldn't normally have been able to invest in crypto.
Yeah, and I think it's actually something interesting that's happened here, because if you look at the time, we're going over October, November, December, and now January as well, right? We had a little pump in January, but then we had the crash after it, right? Over that period, has been quite depressing in crypto, let's face it, right? Yet the big boys and the institutions have pumped more money into crypto over those periods than they ever have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's telling me a couple of things. Now, I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist at times. So if I want a little bit of downtime and not look at crypto, I love a conspiracy theory video. Absolutely love it. So if I put that conspiracy theory head on when I look at crypto, is there manipulation going on here? Is the market sentiment being driven down on purpose so they can hoover this up cheap? I think it's very, very possible.
Yeah.
Because what you'll tend to find on social media in particular, there'll be a few major accounts that will say something, and then all the smaller accounts will then copy over time. Mm-hmm. And then that sets the tone for something.
Yeah.
So, and we're giving you some examples of things. By the way, I'm not saying these are conspiracies. I'm just giving examples. So, for instance, I was saying for a very long time, wasn't I, the 4-year cycle was over, right? And a lot of people said I was crazy, right? Then we had some major players. I'm not going to mention them on here, but there had some major players in the finance and crypto scene said the 4-year cycle is over, yeah? We're now going into a 5-year cycle, right? And all of a sudden, it completely switched everybody's mindset on this. Now, I was already there, to be fair. But I'm just saying the power of some of these monster accounts to switch people's perception, and then it bleeds then into news articles as well.
Yeah.
Completely switches how people there. So I'm just wondering, is there manipulation going on there to drive the sentiment down, put the price down? Because the institutions are hoovering up what everybody else is selling.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was only last week that Strategy bought $264 million worth of Bitcoin and added to their portfolio. And I mean, that's not a small investment.
And that was during one of the biggest pullbacks of the year.
Exactly.
So at the worst time, when everybody's screaming, oh my God, this is so scary, I need to sell, the biggest owner of Bitcoin on the planet went, yeah, I'll have a bit more of that, please.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I mean, it frustrates me when I look at the headlines because you can't see a pattern. One headline says something positive, one headline says something negative, one headline's talking about one time frame, one headline's talking about what one analyst is saying, which is the most frustrating for me because it's just complete speculation to just try and create an article. But you can see in these flows of ETFs that there has been some money being taken out of Bitcoin ETFs. But you've also seen other ETFs
where they put the money in.
Higher inflows.
Yes. Was it Solana and
XRP?
There was another one as well where they had inflows when there was XRP. But so the overall was a negative over that week, but there was some that gained.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think it's really easy to do the big headline. X million dollars has come out of ETFs. Okay, well, actually, what you're not painting the picture of is the whole picture. Actually, money's rotating. Yeah. And money is just rotating into different assets. The major whales or the major institutions that are investing, they're really not pulling their money out of crypto.
Absolutely not. In fact, they're buying more. They're buying more. And there's that old phrase, you follow the smart money.
Yeah, exactly. And when you look at the strategy that is being talked about in America and using a crypto reserve to help pay off national debt, is it in the interests of America to have the price of Bitcoin go down so that they can increase their reserve? Yes, of course it is. And
it's why I think manipulation is real. I genuinely do. Listen, and I made a bit of joke there about the conspiracy theory, but I'm being serious. I honestly believe that the manipulation is real. We can't affect it. There's no point getting angry about it.
No.
You just have to play the cards you're dealt.
And also, I think we've got to factor in that liquidations are probably the biggest money maker.
They make a fortune
out there, and
they can see your stop losses, my friends.
Of course, they can.
They can see your stop losses.
They can.
Every time you enter a stop loss on the exchange, the big boys can see exactly where it all is, where it's all gathered, and they will just go and hoover up. They'll do a liquidity sweep. They'll fire the candle down there, wipe you out before they move up. It's the oldest trick in the book.
Yeah. And I think that's the kind of thing that retail investors get really frustrated about because it feels like the market's manipulated. It feels like the liquidators are out hunting your stop losses and the average man...
Not feels like, they are.
Okay, but it's I guess, feeling like retail's being oppressed, like pushed out, and is that because crypto is already mainstream and it's probably not designed for retail like it was? It's probably more designed for institutions now.
I think it's heading in that direction, which obviously makes me feel a little bit sad. As somebody that's been in crypto for a very long time, I remember what the dream was. Again, we spoke about this before, but that does make me a little bit sad. But you can't hold on to the past.
No.
The past is gone. It's dead. We're now moving forward. We've now got a brand new version of crypto we're dealing with. And actually the brand new version, I believe there's even more money to be made.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because if banks and payment rails are integrating it and crypto is becoming embedded into financial products like it is, then there will be more users in the space, and more users in the space can only be a good thing, because if we, and I think we probably all do, if we're invested in crypto, we want there to be more users to create more value, and I guess that comes with some negatives, particularly for retail.
Well, we're seeing the frameworks getting settled now, aren't we?
Yeah.
So we've got in the EU, you've got the MiCA framework done, dusted, in place. Everybody knows where they stand. In America, you've got the Clarity Act as it stands today at the point of recording.
We don't know where we stand.
Well, what we do know is after yesterday's report, I actually really enjoyed this, and I can't remember the person's name. I'm really terrible at remembering people's names, but it was an official person from the US, and they'd said, fantastic meeting, and nobody swore at each other.
Awesome.
Right, and I just thought, well, that's progress, because what you had in one room was the US Banking Committee and representatives from the banks, along with the industry leaders from crypto in that room, because at the moment they can't strike a deal with the stablecoin yield problem. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's actually really important, right? So you've got a situation where the framework for American crypto is ready to rock and roll. It's going to make a huge difference, right, to global crypto adoption, okay? But the banks are saying, we want to ban we want to ban the crypto industry from allowing people to stake their stable coins and earn a yield from it. And at first you might think, well, that's really strange. Why would the banks care? I'll tell you why. So the banks make money from you go to work, you earn money, you save money, you put money in bank, right? For every pound or dollar that you've got in your bank, that bank can lend your money out 3 times to other people, because that's the ratio they're allowed to do in global banking in the West. And they can earn interest from other people borrowing 3 times the money that you've got in your savings, okay? Now, if more people are earning more money from staking stable coins than they can in their bank, they're going to have a massive bleed from the banking system from savings.
Yeah, because people are going to take their money out.
And let's get it straight. There are very few groups of people on the planet more powerful than the bankers, right? So when the bankers are sat in that room going, we ain't allowing this to pass.
Yeah.
And by the way, none of the other people that are from the Senates and all the other things, we've got them all in our pockets, right? They are one of the biggest sponsors of politics in America.
Yeah.
Now, crypto's turned up, and they've quite rightly reminded them that 4 out of every 5 candidate that won during the election, in the last US election, was sponsored by crypto.
Yeah.
Right. So they're saying, well, we are just as powerful as you, be careful. And they've just gone bang, they've butted heads. So we're at a standstill. I believe we're going to have somebody step in to sort it out. Whether it'll be Trump, I don't know.
Well, I think the reality is that stable coins are being used more and more worldwide. Mm-hmm. And I think that if the governments want to start implementing CBDCs, then they need regulatory clarity. And America will understand that they are holding up the world, because a lot of the major stable coins at the moment are denominated in dollars. But I guess it kind of brings it back to, in the UK, the stablecoin rulebook has already been outlined. We have a framework for that. The framework was up for, what's the right word? Kind of like review. So people could look at it and then make propositions. And I think that actually ends in the next couple of weeks. I think it's
This is the UK you're on about?
Yeah, the 10th of February. So come the 10th of February, the UK framework for stablecoins is going to be solid.
We may have the same problem in our country, because you think the Bank of England are going to roll over with that as well.
Yeah, but I think that this is why they started looking at capping the amount of stable coins that people can hold.
Right.
So if they can come up with maybe a cap that people can hold, I don't know how they're going to monitor that, whether they're going to tax people above that or whatever.
I should assume they can only put a cap on anything that's tied to the British pound, so a British pound stable coin.
Yeah, so that's the UK framework, but I wonder if America might end up doing something similar to help get this Clarity Act through. Because if the UK is going to put a tick and they're going to have a framework for stablecoins, I know that Europe are trying to get a pilot for CBDCs over this year and next year. So America might fall behind if they can't close this gap.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest. I've been asked this question so many times, and I just need to be totally honest with you guys. I do not know what the solution is here, because the bank's position they're in, I totally understand. They don't want to release the power. Yeah. Right. And I totally understand the crypto side. And I'm going to be honest, as a point of recording this, I don't know what the solution is.
No.
I do not know. There will be a solution, but I don't even know where the middle ground will sit.
No.
I just have no idea, because somebody is going to have to concede massively. Either the crypto industry are going to have to concede that they're not allowed to make Okay. So for instance, you got Coinbase. Yeah. They are the largest holder of stable coins on the planet. And they're being told you're not allowed to make money from them.
Yeah.
You think Coinbase are going to roll over?
Yeah.
No, it's not happening. And then you got the banks. Are they going to sign their own potential death warrant when it comes to them, people taking money out of the bank? So, okay. So currently I've got some stable coins staked at the moment with the yield mode on Tangent. Okay. And I think I'm getting 4.9% back, right? What would my bank give me if I put the same amount of money into a bank?
Yeah.
What, less than 1%?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. It's not even a complex. It's not like, oh, it's 50-50, I feel safe from a bank. It's not even close. So there's no way these guys are going to agree. So it's going to take somebody to step in, slap them both, and say that's now the new rule.
But I think the reality is yes, the fact that we're even having these conversations with central banks and crypto companies means that crypto is way more mainstream than the average person realises. And the average person is probably not going to rush to take their money out of the banks, because that's going to take it's going to take generational change. I think if you're looking at the youngsters,
the youngsters
now,
coming through they won't even bat an eyelid at it.
Well, I think the youngsters will, but I don't think in our age range it's common for people to be using crypto. And then anybody older than us, it's not common.
Really uncommon.
So if you actually looked at how this integrates moving forward, I don't think it's going to, yes, it will affect the banks, but I don't think it's going to be an instant, oh my God, everybody's going to take their money out.
These
overnight.
rules that they're trying to work on right now isn't about, what's it going to look like for 2026? They're looking over the next 20 years.
Yeah, and I do get that.
They're looking for like, do you know what I mean? Like even long, they might be looking longer than that. Like these boys will be looking long term, which is why both sides of this coin know this is so important for them to get it right now.
I think they're also more worried that crypto has lost its Wild West kind of headline, kind of that vibe. Because if crypto is becoming more mainstream and the banks are worried about people taking their money out and putting them into stable coins because people are less fearful of crypto, then that is going to definitely be a concern for them, isn't it? Because
so it's concern for who?
For the banks. Because when crypto was this,
you mean the banks would be scared about crypto? Yeah, because they want both sides here. So what they do is I think they want to say, oh no, crypto is too scary, everyone should have their money in the bank. Yeah. By the way, we're now going to be investing so heavily in crypto, we're going to make a fortune out of it. So they want their cake and eat it.
And they want to use the tech.
Yeah.
The tech's way better than what they've got. Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, the banking industry in America is so powerful.
Yeah.
Like, they're more powerful than countries.
Yeah.
Like, these are really powerful men. Like...
Yeah, I mean, we're just going to have to see how all this pans out, because I think the fact that the Clarity Act has been put on so much hold and there's so much uncertainty is probably having an impact on the markets as well.
Definitely.
So I think I hope that sooner rather than later that they can come up with something.
The video I made yesterday on YouTube was pretty much saying, by the way, for the point of recording this, we've just ended January, guys, okay? And I've said the next couple of weeks we need to get this Clarity Act not passed, but at least past the banking committee. So we need to see it moving forward in some way to the next stage. And I think we're going to see a shift in sentiment. If that fails, if these men in that room can't negotiate past the point they're at, this could be devastating for the next 12 months of crypto, in my opinion. I think that could be the catalyst to enter us into a crypto winter. I don't want to talk all negative. I know everybody wants me to give you some good news, but I have to owe people the honesty of what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing is right now we are on a pivot point. Things are already in a negative position anyway. If these boys can't get past the point they're at, and this is a negative thing, it could just tip things over the edge. It's not the end of the world if we're going to do a crypto winter. I will just accumulate more at the bottom for cheaper. That's okay. But most people won't see it like that. They will be devastated.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there must be more mainstream element to crypto to just even the banks be so worried. So I think, well,
they're terrified of losing control.
Yeah.
They're terrified of losing control.
Yeah.
The people banking money in banks, well, there's no banks if people don't do that.
Yeah.
At the moment, they're hemorrhaging money left, right and centre. Because even industries now are starting to store their wealth in crypto instead of the bank. Mm-hmm. So the banks now are going, okay, how do we plug this hole?
Yeah.
I know what we'll do is we'll get involved. And now they're getting involved. They're saying, now let's plug that savings thing. Yeah. Let's go and that yield on stablecoins, let's plug that hole. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I've got no idea.
So I think those are some of the reasons why it feels like crypto could be more mainstream. But what about why it might not feel like mainstream's here yet?
I think, you mean like for the average Joe?
Yeah.
You mean like the average person down the street that's into crypto, why does it not feel like it's there? I think one of the reasons could be because we're getting fewer hype cycles. So if we look at this situation now, you couldn't be anything further away from a hype cycle. Anything. In fact, we're in a deep, dark hole at the moment.
Yeah, because you mean that if it was mainstream, then everyone would be like...
Yeah, because then it'd be like, wait, you know what I mean? Like, but that's not there.
Yeah.
So therefore, we're getting less retail frenzy, right? But listen to what I'm telling you. Things move in cycles. And when we do get back up the other end, in my opinion, it's going to go mental. And I'm really excited when that does flip. And I don't know when. A month, a year, 2 years, I don't know. But when that does flip round, I think then people will start feeling it. Then people will start realising that actually that's where we're at. Yeah,
because along with that, you get all the social media hype. And at the moment, social media is quiet.
Well, yeah, views are down.
Yeah.
I think there's a stat, isn't there? So October, November and December is the lowest, this comes from a YouTube analyst, is the lowest amount of views for crypto content in the last 5 years.
I know, and I'm so glad that I set up my YouTube account in October.
I've got to burn a spade. I've got to burn a spade. Your views aren't too bad. So I think you're propping up the YouTube crypto UK scene right now.
Trying.
Yeah, I mean, my views have gone down by about 3/4 since the peak. So I think you're propping up the UK scene. Well done, babe. Well done, babe. Well done.
I mean,
one door closed, another one opens. Let's just say that.
I mean, let's be honest, infrastructure isn't exciting. And then this period of no excitement feels boring.
Yeah.
And then boring feels like stagnation. And it's just, we're in a bit of a negative loop at the moment, aren't we? And I think that's why it doesn't feel mainstream at the moment. But when mainstream comes, is it going to immediately pump the charts? Is it going to immediately have an impact on price?
No, it'll be the other way around.
Sure,
price will pump, then it'll feel mainstream. It'll be the other way around, I think.
So I think there are so many different elements to how it could become mainstream that not all of those elements are ever going to move at the same time. So if you've got some banks that are integrating blockchain technology into tokenization or payment rails or whatever, that's going to move a certain part of it. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to have the institutions and the ETFs and probably more access to investments that they can buy into, and then you're probably going to have other things that are going to move along, CBDCs or whatever it is. And I think that to feel like all of these are on board at the same time, we're looking a long time in the future for that to all be.
I think people have to adjust their time horizons.
Yeah,
they've got to adjust their time horizons.
I know technology is moving faster than it's ever been, but these big ships, these big banks, these big institutions, the big regulators, they don't turn quickly, do they? I
had somebody, do you know what, right? I couldn't believe it. I thought I'd misread what he said. So for those of you who don't know, I'm dyslexic, so I will often read things incorrectly. So when the guy said it to me via a message, I thought I'd read it wrong, and then I checked it again. I was like, no, he didn't say that. He said, I can't believe how long we've been waiting for this to happen. It feels like it's never going to happen. And I was like, all right. When did you buy it? And he went, April. And I'm like, I need to read that again.
Do you mean April 2017?
Because he's telling me that he's been in it for less than a year, yet it's taken too long. And I was like, what? And I thought, I must have misread this. And I read it back. I'm like, no, I have read it right.
Yeah.
And I went back to him and went, brother, You're still in nappies.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Relax yourself.
The retail perception gap, isn't it? Like the
expecting it now. Bang.
For fast wealth and just confusing adoption with price. Because, I mean, every time you talk about anything great that Ripple's done, people are expecting the price to pump, and it's just not. You can't see it on the charts in that way. It doesn't work like that at the moment. I'm sure at some point that will change.
Yeah.
But at the moment, that is not what Ripple is building. I mean, they're investing and acquiring companies that they're paying billions of dollars for. The back end investment that company have put into that project.
It's unbelievable numbers. It's unbelievable.
Huge.
It's unprecedented in crypto.
Yeah.
Like they're now like crypto plus when it comes to the things they're doing. It's incredible.
Well, that gives me an idea, Matt, as to the size of the market that they're anticipating being able to break into, because they won't be investing that kind of money without an expectation that money's going to be repaid back and that investment's going to then grow and move forward. So it must be such a huge market that they are hoping for a market share of. But if you've got such a massive market, you can't expect that you're just going to acquire a company and then all of a sudden that pumps XRP. It doesn't work.
It's people's expectation. Again, it's that time horizon, that disconnect, I think. And all this we've been talking about, it does create real interesting disconnect, doesn't it? And I think we've got really people expecting that fast wealth.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay to expect fast wealth if you're in fast wealth projects or you're trading in a fast wealth way.
Yeah.
If you are literally going, I've just bought $1,000 of, I don't know, Hedera or XLM or XRP or SUI, and you're expecting to be like wealthy within 9 months, you don't know what you're on about.
No.
You need to relax.
Yeah. If you're going to go and buy a meme coin that's pumping, you might achieve that, but you might buy 10 different meme coins and only 9, like one of them successful. So, yeah, I think we've just got to make sure that we're looking at timescales realistically and not think that just because progress is quiet, that it's being ignored, because this progress is going on in the background. And I don't know how much more information people want about projects like Ripple or like things like Hedera, what they're building in the background. I mean, it's a massive project.
Phenomenal. Now, I've got to be honest, Hedera...
do people want before they believe that this stuff's going...
Because they're confusing mainstream adoption and wealth.
Yeah.
They're expecting them to go hand in hand instantly, and that's not the way it is. And I don't know where this narrative has come from. I think I don't get it. I think maybe it could wait. So I've even started thinking to myself, well, if I look back at some of the videos I've made, if I said things that maybe, like, do you know what I mean? They start thinking, where's this narrative coming from? And it could well be like, let's say, for instance, we'll go with Ripple again because it's perfect for this podcast subject because they're so mainstream and what they're going into. They adopted. They had the acquisition. Was it Hidden Road or whatever it was? And then I think like the way that was presented by social media, and I thought, well, how did I present it? And I think I was excited. So I'm going, this is amazing. This is huge. This is monster for Ripple. And then people who are going, oh right, that's $10 next week then. But it's not true. It's not what happens. And I think if you've got people making videos saying XRP to $1,000, XRP to $500, XRP to $10,000, and then you're getting bombarded then with footage of people like me that are reporting positive news. Well, then they're merging the two things together in their brain, and they're going positive news, positive news, positive news. That $10,000 prediction must be correct.
Yeah.
And they're not linked.
Yeah.
Those are two different styles of content being created on YouTube by two different styles of content creator. Those two things are not linked. Yeah. One is reporting to you like I do about infrastructure, the news, what the impact would be of that acquisition. And I'm not on about price. I'm on about like for the project.
The infrastructure. Yeah.
This one is talking to you about dreams and aspirations, and they call it the moonshot or the moon boy talk. And there's nothing wrong with talking like that. I don't make XRP price prediction videos because you're almost certainly going to be proven wrong with the price prediction. So I don't make them, right? I do have my own personal thoughts on it and I share it with our private community, but I don't do it on social media because people just troll you when you're wrong. So you just lose, right? Unless you've got a crystal ball, which I don't own one. Oh, actually, I do own one, but I've checked, there's nothing in it. So yeah, they're two things. But I think what's happened is they get bombarded by those two types of content. They're two merge in their brain, and then they're going, Well, why is all this good news and not the price movement? It's because those two things were never connected in the first place.
My concern is that people are going to join those two together. Then they're going to feel deflated.
Yeah.
Then they're not going to invest and they're going to miss the opportunity because by the time the opportunity looks valid to them, they'll have missed the window to get in.
So I used to really, really think long and hard about how I can help people not miss the opportunity. Yeah. I've actually, over recent months, flipped my mind on this. And I'm thinking it's okay if they miss it.
What can you do?
I think it's okay. I think if people miss it, then that's their life lesson.
Yeah.
So, okay, so the people that miss the Bitcoin move, the Ethereum move, the SUI move, if they miss the XRP, the Hedera, or insert any crypto that you want in there, there's a utility, got use anyway.
Yeah.
If they miss that move, I personally now at the opinion, that's okay.
Yeah.
That was your learning lesson. That was your learning lesson, and that's okay to do that.
Because there will always be entries into everything, of course, but you're going to miss that big shift that's happening underneath because people don't believe that it's going to happen because the price is currently not reflecting it. And I think that's probably crypto through and through because everybody saw what happened to Bitcoin, but when Bitcoin was first made, was first an idea, it was never about price.
No.
That was never the dream.
No.
So crypto has changed and the ethos has changed. These projects now that are being built, some of them have utility, some of them don't. I'm a big believer that you should invest your money in the projects you've researched and the projects that you believe in. I'm not here to judge what you believe in and what you don't. So, I mean, there's always going to be opportunities, I think, in crypto. You don't have to worry that you didn't get in right at the bottom. But I just think that people are becoming a little bit numb to hearing these movements because so many people, so many big voices in this space have been harping on, particularly about XRP and the price it's going to get to and the unrealistic timeframes, and then seeing that Ripple have made all these acquisitions and then it's not reflected in price. So listen, you have all got to make your own decisions, but I want to just remind people that this infrastructure is being built in the background, and I mean, I personally can't see that if we've got all of these regulators in this space having these conversations, we've got all the central banks. Look at the people that were at Davos this year. I mean,
huge.
For the first time ever, we had the CEOs of crypto companies in amongst all these massive big players.
Yeah.
That's a movement, in my opinion, and that's a change. And crypto becoming mainstream, I think it's inevitable. I think the tech is too good for it not to be used. And I think that the banks will find a way to sit in that, whether or not it will make them as profitable as they'd like to be.
Yeah, but they're going to make money. If you think about the banks in particular, the amount of money they're going to save by getting rid of the old system is massive. So that's why they're in. Let's get it straight. The banks aren't integrating with crypto because they think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
They're doing it for money reasons because they make more money from it.
Yeah.
But I think that we're at a situation where quiet progress is being ignored by the average person purely because they're obsessed with price. I must have said this 20 times this week to different people when they're talking to me about their price and the bags. I'm like, are you looking to sell it today? Yeah. And they go, no. I'm like, then stop looking.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop looking.
Exactly.
Stop looking at it. Concentrate on what's actually happening, because if you were just obsessed about price, your emotions are going to be up and down over the next 5-10 years, and actually you're not going to know where you're sitting because you're focusing on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Right now, the price doesn't matter unless you need the money.
Yeah.
Unless you need the money today, that's different.
And this is where perspective really matters. I mean, in the UK specifically, let's talk about that because we are UK based. We've got UK adoption happening quietly. The stablecoin framework rulebook is going to be confirmed within the next couple of weeks. Regulation is starting to shape the behaviour in the UK because whether we like the FCA or we don't like the FCA, they are a very powerful influencing factor on other regulators around the world. So if we can get regulation shaped and passed here, then I think that will filter on. And the big institutions, the big banks don't like it when there's no regulation because there's no framework, there's no certainty for them to work within.
Can I talk? By the way, this is not a leading question because I don't know the answer, but I'm interested in your opinion on this because I know that you've made more content about this and probably done more research about this one particular subject, which is, the UK stablecoin framework. Yeah. By the time this episode comes out, will be about around the time that the decision gets made because of how the gap.
Yeah.
What do you think's going to happen?
So I think that they have already, because they've already put a framework together. So the framework for retail is that you can hold a maximum cap of £20,000 worth of UK, so sterling denominated stable coins. Mm-hmm. I don't think that they're going to probably change that unless somebody really massively objects to that. I don't think they're going to change that. I don't know how they're going to potentially watch that. How are they going to know?
Well, it's the same as crypto.
It's reporting, and I get that. And I guess there is a level of...
The exchanges will report to you.
Yeah, the level of KYC and all the rest of it. Yeah. I don't think that's a massive hold up for UK crypto holders because a lot of people don't hold their stable coins in sterling.
How much pound stable coins do you have?
None.
Exactly. That's why I asked the question. Me neither.
Yeah.
But I think there could be a switch, right?
I think
I'll tell you why. It's because the US dollar is getting weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. So there'll become a point where actually, if I'm honest, if there was a UK stable coin that I felt good about, I would consider switching some into that. Yeah. I currently have 0 UK stablecoins. Everything's American dollars.
I wouldn't be surprised to see the likes of Tether or Ripple create a
pound version.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I'd be incredibly interested in a Ripple stablecoin that was pound based.
Sure. I wouldn't be surprised.
Or Tether.
Yeah.
Or Tether.
I think that probably what will happen, and this is only my best guess, I think that the government will try and tax people if they are holding more than that, because they will need to try and keep the money into the banks, and they're obviously put an amount on that.
It's interesting actually because we just spoke about the amount. I never actually considered that cap being for that reason in the UK. But it's obvious now. We've had off the back of this conversation.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, at the moment, if it is just UK-based stablecoins and they don't put any caps on any other denominated stablecoins, then
they wouldn't be able to put a cap because you'd have stuff offshore.
Well, yeah, but I mean, really, yes, the dollar's going down, but if the dollar went down and the yen, for instance, went up, then and you wanted to look at the best value for your money and protect it, then you could probably just flip it into a different currency.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably brings us to kind of the going back to the conversation you were having earlier about the banks and worrying about the Clarity Act going through, because they lose so much control, don't they? When people make that jump from moving their money out of their traditional bank account and onto a crypto wallet, all of a sudden, why are they going to move it back? Because it's going to be so easy to transfer around and move around, and I think banking will change. So I don't know, but I do think that having this framework locked down in the UK also opens a door for the UK to create their own CBDC, which brings a whole nother conversation into this, because having a digital pound is then the most centralised form of crypto that you
I'm not sure how I feel about it. I can't affect it, so I don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure how I feel yet.
Yeah, I think let's get these regulations passed. They are going to be passed.
By the way, just so we're clear, because again, I don't know the answers. So the date that's coming up,
10th of February.
Is that literally the line in the sand?
Yeah.
They either do it or they don't?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, so it's already there. They're just waiting for it to be contested, and then they will tweak it.
Contested by who?
So I think it gives people. I don't think retail are particularly going to be able to do this, but I should imagine it would be things like the banks and the big institutions if they've got.
Or maybe even the crypto industry the same.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So by the time Coinbase and Ripple and that are finished in America, they might be flying over here to have the same thrash out again over here.
Potentially.
Wow.
Potentially.
Wow.
Yeah, potentially.
Wow.
But these regulations are coming in, so in my opinion, let's get them in, and then we know what we're working with. Because the markets don't like uncertainty. We've got enough uncertainty going on.
But the markets hate uncertainty more than bad news.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you'd rather have the bad news than this hovering in the middle.
Exactly. And I think also retail feels like they're stuck in the middle when there's no clarity, because the markets are affected and ultimately retail are affected by price. So,
and that brings us back to everyday people.
Yeah. Adoption isn't exciting when you're living through it. It's not.
No, it's boring.
It's really boring.
It's supposed to be boring, though.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be. I think that's the message I want to get over to people at the moment. It's supposed to be boring.
But the biggest shifts often feel dull, don't they?
Yeah.
Because you can't do anything about it. You're just relying on people telling you that this is happening in the background. But actually, what can you see? What can you feel? What can you touch? None of it. So it feels like there's a lot of great words being spoken, but nothing's happening.
Yeah. I mean, most of the big changes that are going to happen, they're happening in the background without even noticing.
Yeah.
Unless it is literally your full-time job to be talking about crypto. Yeah. You're probably going to miss a lot of this.
Yeah. And you don't notice that change until it's finished.
That's okay, because it's not actually that important for you right now, to be fair.
Exactly.
This is all about the future.
Exactly. But crypto growing up, I think it is a maturing market now, or it's becoming more mature than it was. And I think that it feels uncomfortable for some people. And there are going to be people that are not involved in crypto that feel uncomfortable by crypto. There's going to be people that have been heavily involved in crypto for a long time that feel uncomfortable with change. So you can't win, can you?
So what are the takeaways? If we wanted to sum up some of these takeaways for this episode.
Mainstream adoption doesn't arrive with a bang. Like, honestly, you can't expect that there's just going to be the lights switched. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I think it means that it's probably going to arrive when things don't feel new. And at the moment, some of these things we're talking about are new.
Yeah.
So the Clarity Act in America, what did you say it was called in the UK?
The stablecoin
framework.
Yeah.
All these are new. See, when all these are old news.
Yeah.
That is when things happen. Because at the moment, we're not going to see big fireworks while everything's brand new like this. It's going to take time.
Yeah, exactly. Because price and progress aren't the same thing. And if you're only looking at the charts, you're missing the bigger picture.
Mate, if I've said this once, I must have said it a million times during the last couple of months. Honestly, guys, stop focusing on price short term. That's not the game.
Yeah.
If price short term is your thing, this might not be for you.
No. Exactly.
This might not be for you. Extend those horizons, relax a little bit, and just enjoy the ride.
Exactly. I think that's a really good place to leave it. So, Matt, it's been another awesome episode. For you guys watching, thank you so much for joining us. Let us know in the comments, what do you think about this? Where are you at with the whole, is crypto already mainstream? Is it going to be there? What's your timeframes? What are you thinking? Let us know, because we genuinely read the comments.
And don't forget to check the link in the description. Today's sponsor was Tangem, and with that link, you are going to get a 10% discount on the crypto cold storage wallet of our choice. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. If you are on YouTube, there's a button down below that says subscribe. And if you are watching on Spotify, please hit that follow button so you can get all the next episodes as they come out. We have brand new episodes coming out every single Friday, 7 p.m. UK time.
And join us on the next episode where we're talking about why most portfolios are built backwards. We'll see you then.